So Blake, just tell us a little bit about the marquee player ruling.
Sure. The clubs were offered a chance to vote over the last 12 months 3 times about whether to introduce a marquee player proposal, and that was that if you like, their highest paid player, subject to affordability, would go into their salary cap with a value of £100,000 no matter what they spent on them. So if the club wanted to pay a certain player £1 million a year, as long as they could afford it, it would go into the salary cap as a £100,000 value.
A lot of people say that having these marquee players is a really good thing for business. It's bums on seats.
Certainly that's been discussed. I think we'll probably get the test of that over the next few weeks with Kevin Locke, and certainly Marwan thinks he'll put bums on seats. So hopefully the game tomorrow night against Hull, there's plenty of people out there watching him play.
So what actually happened at the ruling then?
What happened was the clubs have had a look at it twice now. What they've said is that there's an interest in introducing a marquee player rule. However, what they don't want to do is to sacrifice the financial sustainability of the game. We've just signed a record TV deal that delivers more money to the clubs than they've ever had before. What they want to do is make sure that their sustainability is secured before they then think about introducing a marquee player marquee player rule, which could increase player payments.
Some have said that this has been knocked back by the RFL, is that right?
It's a slightly peculiar mechanism to change the salary cap rules, where you need a majority of the Super League clubs in favour and the RFL in favour of changing it. At the moment we've had 3 votes on it, 2 where the clubs have rejected the marquee player proposal, and then 1 where the clubs have said we're interested in it but we want to have a look at it at the end of the year, when we can have a broader look at how the salary cap works and also issues such as compensation for those clubs that produce their own talent.
So how will that work at the end of the year?
We've got another Super League meeting, a 2-day meeting in October. The RFL and Super League have been asked to go away and give the clubs as much information as they can on what is actually being spent by the clubs at the moment in terms of player payments, what the value or what increase in profile or bums on seats would happen if there was a marquee player introduced, and also have a look at the costs of producing talent. I know it's also something that the NRL are doing. Those clubs that actually invest heavily in producing talent, are they being rewarded adequately with the current compensation regulations?
What would you say was the split of the vote on the marquee player issue? I
think we've always said that we'd keep the split of the votes in the room. It's not really right, I think, in terms of the governance of the organisation, to be telling everyone who's voting which way. But it was a significant majority that wanted to defer it until October and have another look at it, which is fair enough. I think, as I said before, the financial security of the clubs in the competition is paramount. They're interested in the idea of a marquee player proposal, but at the same time they don't want to do it in a way that sacrifices that security and the new TV deal.
There's been some reaction from the parties that we would expect this week about this, some ripping up of charters and discussing of the RFL governance. What have you got to say about that?
I think the important thing is that no matter who they are, if you're a shareholder, you're absolutely entitled to have a say about the direction of the business, and that's what makes it such a fascinating sport. Is that we have colourful characters, people who want to have a say and feel very passionately about the sport, and they're entitled to do it. That's why they're shareholders. So. It's a discussion. I don't necessarily agree with everything everyone says, but it's that sort of passion that actually drives the sport forward.